days ahead of the first Friday night game, it's not unusual to hear the sound of a marching band. But what the Hempfield Area Spartan Marching Band was warming up for today was a different kind of performance. Fight song for a fighting spirit, marching through a Greensburg neighborhood and straight to the front yard of Hempfield's most beloved resident, Terry Ranieri.
I've been a redwood across the ocean for a heart of gold.
If you grew up in Hempfield over the past 50 years, you have probably heard the name Terry Ranieri, a long-standing cult hero of niceness that defined the Greensburg and Hempfield area during his lifetime.
Someone that even if he doesn't recognize you, everyone in the community recognizes, because he's just everywhere. He's always happy, and he just brings up the attitudes and makes everyone feel good and be there.
Terry, who graduated from Hempfield Area School District in 1975, attended home field football games regularly in the decades since, greeting fans at games while watching the band warm up for their halftime show, or offering up some of his classic Terryisms, such as jammin' like Route 30 and cool like whip.
Terry has been a fixture in our community for decades. Children in our band and their parents all grew up knowing Terry. I knew it would mean the world to everyone.
It's a staple in the community, and as people graduate and they don't see the band as often, Terry's always the person that's there supporting the band for us, especially like during football games. He'll stand down in the front and be cheering us on. It's awesome just to see how happy he gets. Doing something like this for him means a lot, especially for me, because we're giving back to him for all the times that he's supported us.
Eternal memory of Terry was told in his last movements. He had very few words over the last couple of days, but some of his last words were thank you. He could barely speak, and he said thank you. I love you all. And he would say it all the time. I know we probably don't hear that often, and I hope we can all learn from him the true meaning of love. We always should express it more often and tell people we love them like he did. And he told people he didn't even know he loved them, and he meant it. Terry had a developmental disorder called Williams syndrome, which is marked by unique personality characteristics and distinctive facial features, according to the National Institutes of Health. He was born December 30th, 1954 in Greensburg, a son of the late Tony W. and Mary G. Bish Ranieri. Terry was a 1975 graduate of Hempfield Area High School and was recently inducted into the Wall of Fame. He could be seen at most home football games, where he enjoyed listening to the band and welcoming anyone who crossed his path. One of Terry's life obsessions was the band, a relationship he would carry with him until the very end. He attended community living care where he enjoyed their music program and other various activities. He would spend most of his weekends at Westmoreland Mall at the food court, talking and spending time with his friends. At the peak of my teenage years, Terry did have an entourage that rivaled that of the Hollywood celebrity, meeting and greeting with everyone throughout the food court and mall breezeways, walking from storefront to storefront, bench to bench, to talk with everyone he could, entertaining everyone who crossed his path. He bowled with the Hillview Specials and was involved for many years with Special Olympics, where he won several medals. Terry was an avid Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates fan and enjoyed listening to the oldies and being on his computer. Terry enjoyed anything involving people and was a loyal friend to all. There was a story I read on the internet about a woman who met Terry when they were classmates at West Hempfield Junior High School. She described him as well-liked even then, and that's when his Terryisms seemed to start, she said about Terry. He used to say so much more. Terry got a standing ovation at their 1975 high school graduation ceremony, a gesture that wasn't so surprising considering Terry's celebrity-like status in the area. Tom Blank, a former Hempfield resident, said he also graduated with Ranieri, adding, "When he walked across that stage, it was the longest and loudest ovation of the night."
Terry was gifted in ways that few people are. I like to say Terry had a high LQ. That's love quotient. And it's far, far more important than a high IQ. Terry's brothers and sisters are all college graduates. But Terry has a degree in love from the Holy Spirit. And indeed, it was a gift. But he was kind, creative, funny. He engaged people wherever he went. Everybody should have a Terry. Every community should have a Terry. I wish my community where I live had a Terry. When Terry was in junior high, he had a teacher, a favorite teacher called Mr. Ruskowski. And one day, Terry just wandered out of his class and disappeared. Alarm set in, and the search was on to find Terry. They looked and looked. They found him in the band room. Terry continued to get lost on purpose. Every time they knew where to find him, in the band room. And that began a lifelong love with the Hempfield Spartan Band, and it continued to the very end. But music was a part of his life and followed him wherever. It was at the football games. Football and band together were very important, but more importantly, there were people at the football games. And Terry loved people.
Terry just came home after about a month in the ICU with an aggressive cancer. Now he's in hospice care with his family by his side.
Terry has very little things to be positive about right now, but he always seems to smile. He'll give you a thumbs up. He's the most positive individual that you could possibly imagine.
Now 64 years old, Terry's Spartan spirit runs deep. He graduated Hempfield in 1975, rarely missing a Friday game between then and now. His favorite part about those nights was the music, and thanks to the band's gift today, he got to hear it again.
He's just a really great supporter of us, and I don't know, it's really cool. There's really no words to describe how awesome that really is and how warm it makes some people feel.
Terry became so well known by making friends anywhere, especially at the local malls and of course Spartan Stadium.
Seeing him at football games all the time, he was always there to cheer us on and was one of the biggest Spartan superfans I've ever met in my entire life.
Terry was born with Williams syndrome. In his case, less of a disability and more of an ability to spread joy with those he meets, even now.
A nurse gave him a shot in the stomach, and he said, "Oh, thank you." And she said, "Well, nobody really thanked me for giving him a shot in the stomach before." But he's appreciative and grateful, and he's the epitome of love.
We may not get to experience Terry's presence at Spartan Stadium anymore, but one more surprise today from Superintendent Dr. Tammy Walicki shored up his spot in the heart of Spartan country forever.
It's my pleasure to announce that we are making you an honorary member of our Wall of Fame. This is issued to you today, and it says you're recognized by the Hempfield Area School District as an alumni who's made a significant contribution and honorary accomplishments within your career, forever serving as an example for future graduates to be the best that they can be.
The song may be almost over, but the melody continues, with future generations of Spartans taking the lead on Terry's kindness, his positive spirit, and his love of community.
Hi. Hi. Thank you. I love you all.
He waved to everybody. He was a good lesson to teach the kids. He's just a smiling, friendly face that wants to know you. All the teenagers who frequented the mall for work or otherwise enjoyed his company. In the early 2000s, a Friday night during the winter at the mall was a grand event, and Terry was always center stage. He knew everyone. Of course, they'd all be greeted with one of the Ranieri Terryisms. He was such a positive person. He had always had a smile on his face. Simply knowing Ranieri was a lesson in treating others with kindness. Treating him the way people did went down from generation to generation. Almost 100 band members of the Hempfield Marching Band showed up out of kindness the Tuesday when Terry was welcomed back to his Beacon Valley Road home, where he sat at the front window and listened from inside. Hempfield Area Band Director Brian Tychinski said, "For decades, Terry Ranieri held a special place in the hearts of our band members. While we are saddened by his passing, we will try to pass on the joy which he brought to so many of us through our music." Terry Ranieri was a special person in the lives of many people around the area of Hempfield, and he will always be remembered.